This is a special episode of Chibi Podcast. This is a review episode, guys. Yes, review episode of Wonder Woman because we all saw that recently. We're gonna do a quick introduction. The person singing is.
Hey, I'm Master Guzman.
It's Mr. Kenpachi Ramasama. He's finally back from the grave.
Not even anything like that.
We did summoning jutsus.
Summoning jutsu, I'm back. No,
Yeah,
no. What's the bringing back from death? It's not the summoning. It's the Edo Tensei.
Edo Tensei.
Oh, Edo Tensei from Naruto. I used to sing the Dragon
Come
Ball.
back here. No, Edo Tensei. Who's the other guy talking?
That's Mars Tech guy.
Yeah, that's who I am.
Mr. Worldwide. And we have the last one.
Hi.
Heather. Sassy Heather.
Sassy Heather.
Breaking news, we have a Samsung Galaxy S8 Pirates of the Caribbean coming out. I'm going to watch the video and see how it looks.
Samsung Galaxy set?
S8. Pirates of the Caribbean edition.
Oh, that's weird.
They don't loot chest, but it's on loot.
That sounds weird. All right. What we're here to talk about today.
Special review episode of Wonder Woman. I've said this like 4 times.
So let's discuss Wonder Woman. Should we do spoiler free or just go into it?
I think we should do spoiler free for the first half.
Yeah, well, let's get into like just how we felt, how certain things looked, and la-di-da-da-di.
Okay.
Want to talk about plot?
Yeah, they go into it because I know she's been anxious to want to talk about this.
But mine, I don't know how to not spoil things.
Well, no, you
I'm
could be
pretty
like
bad at
how the intro
Jose-
began.
So-
so maybe not Jose.
I love Batman.
What do you
I love
know?
Batman. We know. So Jose and I went and saw it Thursday night, and we went in. I didn't know who the villain was at all, because I avoid trailers at this point in life because Marvel has ruined all of them for me.
Yeah, but that's Marvel.
They spoil everything. But I tried to stay away from all the reviews and everything just so that I would know that I was going in fresh. And I did, and I'm so glad I did. I loved the movie. It was great. I cried 6 times. Jose can testify.
Cried.
Yes,
Why?
I cried 6 times.
Wow, okay.
I'm an
cried.
emotional
Oh.
One for
person.
me.
Okay.
Yeah, she cried before the movie.
I cried before the movie. There was a commercial
Is this like your favorite
for
superhero or
a savings
something, or-
Not even
account.
close.
No.
Oh, okay.
Next one.
Spider-Man.
That's okay. Spider-Man's my favorite too. But anyway, so plot. World War II setting, right?
Yeah.
I was actually heard some rumors online prior to seeing this. It was World War One, so I got really excited. But then I found out it was World War II. I was like, well, that's so cool, I guess.
Well, no, this is World War
No,
One.
it's World War One.
What's the Nazis and the Germans?
No,
No,
this is Germans. It's not the
it's-
Nazis. The Germans were in World War
World
One
War
and Two.
One and Two.
It's called the Great War.
Why did you guys have to ruin it? I was trolling him. I was guiding him down just to break him down.
I'm not really a big history buff. So
No, I
it's
don't-
okay.
Anyway,
I love the setting though. I love the setting.
Yep.
The time frame around it was kind of perfect. Not perfect, but it was a good starting point. You know what I mean?
it was great.
What was the main character besides Wonder Woman? Trevor? Is that his name? Trevor? I'm not going to spoil how he meets Wonder Woman, but when he sees the land of where all the Amazonians are, it's really
Captain
cool.
Kirk.
It was really cool how he
Captain Kirk.
comes into the world. I'm not going to spoil how until later, but it was really cool. I thought how they interpreted that.
You know what I think is? It feels like where they live is kind of like where the Bermuda Triangle is.
want to say
Wait. Okay, listen. First off, if you know nothing about Wonder Woman, she's an Amazonian woman. And she's kind of comes...
She's a princess,
I don't know
right,
how
in
to
their
say it.
land.
She's a princess of the Amazons.
But she becomes a... Doesn't,
So the basic
And
knowledge
the
of Wonder
Amazons
Woman.
are warriors. If you know nothing about the Amazon.
Yeah, this is basic knowledge of Wonder Woman
this is
and
basic,
her people.
right? So
Yes.
did they,
Yes.
I'm not a big follower. Did they explain the origin story pretty realistic to the comics?
I don't know the
whole,
comics that
Zeus
well.
kind of stuff. Does
Was
that
it?
in the
And this
comics?
is very inspired with Greek mythology, so yeah, it's very.
Was that accurate? I mean, is that a spoiler? Because that's pretty much basic origin, right?
That's basic origin, yeah.
So
Yeah,
pretty-
but the thing is most people don't know basic origin of Wonder Woman.
yeah.
Yeah,
Can you
but-
fill us in on that, Jose?
What the basic origin? It's pretty much. I mean, it depends. It really doesn't.
For this movie, I
I
guess.
believe. Well, to go a little bit back, I believe I'm not 100% sure, but for the animated series, Justice League Unlimited and whatnot, I think Ares was actually her dad.
Okay.
That's what I was getting confused about too. I was thinking that.
Wait.
Yeah.
This is the
In the
origins
animated
back
series.
in the series.
In the
I
series.
was just trying to remember. That
So
was
there's
it.
like stuff like that, but it's always been tied with Greek mythology. Is what I'm trying to get into.
What was Ares supposed to be in the animated series?
It's still
Well,
a god.
Ares is
Was he
a god.
Ares
Yeah,
is a god of
Yeah,
war. That's
in
Greek
mythology,
mythology.
he's
All
the god
Greek
of war.
mythology is still there. So you have the old gods, which would be Greek mythology and stuff like that, and then you have what they call the new gods.
Okay.
And that's
Okay.
that would be more in line with kind of like Krypton style.
Okay.
Not Doomsday. What's his face? Darkseid. There's other stuff like that. They're called. Doomsday is one of those new gods, basically. So stuff like that.
Okay.
So Greek mythology is definitely tied with her.
Okay.
All right.
Pretty cool.
So overall, just not getting into anything. Miles, your feelings of the movie?
I'm not gonna
Overall?
get any hate on this, right?
No.
Okay. It was still a DC movie to me. It was one of the better ones. It was really good. I think I talked to Diego about this. It does the one thing that I've noticed, and I don't. You guys tell me how you feel too, right? Because we all have opinions here. The one thing I really like that DC does that Marvel doesn't is this movie did a really good thing of like how would superheroes be in real life, right? And like how she's fighting like the guys with the guns and then takes out the tank and like it's really realistic looking. It was so cool and the animation was amazing and it was really cool to see how they interact, and it's very realistic, like seeing Wonder Woman coming from a different world to the real world and
Right.
that we live in, and seeing how she interacts was so realistic. And then at the very end, you get the big, to me, the cheesy boss fight, the last 15 minutes or so, and it's all CG animation, and it feels like a Marvel movie, where Marvel kind of comes out cheesy in the beginning, so it kind of fits. Like my explanation was Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Comes out over the top right at the beginning, it's all CGI, it's all good fun, and when he fights the big boss, he's turned into Pac-Man and fighting, it fits. Where the DC movies, they feel really realistic, like Suicide Squad or like Batman v Superman, and then they get this really cheesy CGI boss that we didn't get any emotions or character development on the villain, just kind of bland and whatever. So Wonder Woman did that as well for me, so to me it still felt good, but I think it's probably the best one they've probably done.
I think it's the best
movies,
DC movie they had.
I feel like Gal Gadot nailed it, and I love seeing her on screen. And then what's the other guy, Chris Pine?
Yeah.
I am in love with that actor. He's amazing.
I don't think his name
So-
was whatever you said, Trevor,
It's
but
Tyler.
Tyler, Trevor.
I thought it was Tyler.
That's with a T.
some.
But his character was great, and the connection with him and Gal Gadot felt believable. And I just love the character development. I love the little comedy slices they had between their characters. So to me,
I liked it, yeah.
I really, really liked it. Again, it just failed in that one part of the end that I don't like in all these DC movies because it's not really developing any character where the Marvels is like with Loki, right? He's the first thing you see, you get the character development, it's great. The DC's just a little weird in that place for me, but other than that, I thought it was enjoyable and I loved it. Really
Question.
good.
Other than Loki, give me a good Marvel super.
I'm not saying he's good.
I'm just saying,
he got
like,
development.
as far as that, like,
Okay.
that's the only
I
one that I
love the
think of.
Guardians of the Galaxy, the dad. His villain was really cool to see the setup and the character development, and then you find out that twist at the end, and it made sense and it fit, and that was really, really good.
Yeah.
So I really liked him a lot. I really liked the enemies they did in Thor Ragnarok. Or not, was it Ragnarok is what I'm thinking of? That?
The one before this.
Dark World, thank you. I don't remember all the names for Thor. I thought he was really good. All I'm saying is, like, if the villains are cheesy in those, but they kind of give that development, or the whole universe is cheesy, like, how do I say, like, what's the Avengers, like, when they're fighting in the city and all that, like, you know, it's just that over the top, it's just a believable comic going, it's not really that realistic, but then Batman v Superman, like, how they're fighting through the city and the whole city's getting destroyed and everybody's freaking out and dying, like, that was more realistic.
Yeah.
So it's just the CGI character is just out of the nowhere at the very end, just drives me nuts in these DC movies. Like even Suicide Squad, like what the hell, that witch crap when they're doing these realistic like shooting guns, and, like it's just
All right.
I don't know. That's my point, but I loved it.
How many
Sorry.
chibis?
7.5 for me, maybe
Okay.
7.8. Actually, 7.8.
Okay.
Come back in a little bit.
Jacob.
I enjoyed quite a bit of the movie. Just of how, like, in different aspects of it, like the scenery, the CGI was quite beautiful. The choreography was amazing, I thought. Like, out in the fighting stuff, like when you were with the Amazonians. And I felt like, to me, I felt like everybody except for, like, one or two people had really good chemistry within each other, like supporting roles and main characters. I enjoyed it, and that's what is important for me in movies, not just, you know, the story or the action, but how well they work together.
That's what two characters. Just curious.
I liked the actor guy.
Chris Pine.
No, the actor, the
The Spanish guy.
yeah,
Samir?
Samir.
Oh, okay.
Was he Spanish?
No,
Whatever.
I don't think so. Not with that. He speaks Spanish.
That's the pervert guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
I see what you're saying. He wants the picture of her.
the flirtatious.
Thank you.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
The actor.
Samir
so
and the Native American guy.
Oh, the
Well,
Spanish guy. Samir.
No, not the Native American guy, but Samir and then Gal Gadot and whatever his name, Chris Pine's character.
Damn.
Good. But that like their how they worked together was really nice, and you enjoyed it. And I just enjoyed the movie quite a bit, and obviously the thing that's always difficult for me is with movies, superhero movies, when they do like superhero poses or certain things. And I told Miles this before we watched it. I was like, those parts look really cheesy, but there's just no way around not making it look cheesy. And
Doesn't
super,
make great
The
posters.
ending scene that she did was I was just laughing. I was embarrassed.
Yeah, that one was pretty-
or when she like
Chris Pine
in the middle
was
of her
Steve
fight.
Trevor, just
Steve-
so we
Steve
all got
Trevor.
it straight.
Thank you.
Steve
Um,
Trevor.
Miles was close.
No,
Travis.
no, he said Trevor.
That's a Trevor.
No, he said Trevor.
You got
Oh,
the
I
last
thought
name
he
right.
said Travis.
No, they
He
used
said Trevor.
Tyler,
And then he
'cause
said
it
Trevor,
didn't
Travis,
seem right.
Tyler.
So he
Yeah.
I do
listed
feel
them
you on
off.
that last jumping scene. I think they could have made it better.
Yeah, well, then on top of that, like other
some of the
scenes
slow
when she
motion
does it. No, the slow motions I enjoyed.
No,
I think
the
No,
poses.
I like the slow
I like the
motion.
slow motion because it wanted to show you how intricate like their moves were, but I think it was kind of overkill at times. But then it made sense to make it look because you can see every detail on certain things and behind what's going on, which I enjoyed. But yeah, I enjoyed the movie overall. Like I gave it like an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm holding.
No, I want you. You go.
Just so everybody knows,
You go,
Jose's
Jose.
doing Wonder Woman poses.
I'm doing the pose. I'm doing the last.
Jose,
pose.
Jose, go.
When she's jumping the tackle. That's a different song. Let me gather my thoughts. I liked it. I liked the movie a lot. I think she and it was pretty obvious when they announced her as the Wonder Woman way back when. I didn't have any style of faith in her because at that point the only thing that I had seen her in was Fast and the Furious, and her character in there never really did it for me.
Eye candy.
She's just
That's all she
she's
was, eye candy.
She was twigs and she just
She was very skinny back then, like way more than
She
is
buffed
now.
up really well.
Yeah, so she's not like like.
Well, and she was pregnant.
But
yeah,
not
she
all
was
Wonder
pregnant. I
Women.
didn't know during the
But
movie.
not all Wonder Women are all these big buff chicks.
No.
There's plenty of comic book Wonder Women that are slim and just
Yeah.
athletic,
Yeah.
right?
And the more that I thought
Yeah.
about it, Diana herself is not really all that much
No.
bigger. She has more proportion to her, but that's
Yeah.
probably more because of how she was drawn than anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, starting with that, I really didn't have any faith with her. Going back to Batman vs Superman, when I started, I was like, okay, she seems pretty good. And so, going into this movie, I really didn't have that much expectations from it. Obviously, I wanted it to be good, but it really brought me in. She did a really good job at acting as Diana in both Wonder Woman. I liked how she was very aware of the world, but at the same time naive as to how things work in the world in
Very,
reality.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So she had a concept as to how everything goes. So I was like, oh, that made it believable. That's what made the jokes land for me. Particularly the one in the boat and on the boat.
Oh, the sleeping next.
Yeah,
You
the
don't
sleeping-
sleep with women?
Yeah. And then after that too. So it was very funny. A lot of characters were really good at acting. Gal Gadot, what I personally felt, had some scenes that you could tell she's not that good of an actress just yet. Particularly one, I think
she broke out in some scenes, huh? Like you could just
right
tell she
before
broke her
Ares,
accents.
I think.
Yeah.
Right before he turns, or the whole building explodes, she's like, no, stop, or something like that. And I was like, what? Like it felt like she just did it like a little kid would do it, So I was like, So I could look over things like that. Chris Pine did an amazing job.
He did
in
Chris
my
Pine,
opinion.
right?
Yeah, he was wow.
He was very likable. So there's a lot of good things, fighting scenes that had a lot of good, intricate things. Definitely didn't feel like other style of fight scenes from different superhero movies that I've seen. Just the way they choreographed it and everything.
It seemed it was way more choreographed, didn't you think? In a good way.
Yeah, I think they took liberties having them just flip around and jump all. It was almost in a sense Spider-Man-ish. How they're like jumping out of the horses and picking up weapons. It was really amazing. And then there was the
Bow and
hand sword.
arrow, Attack on
There was
Titan.
the hand sword.
Are you talking about the one where the
Where she-
Amazonian jumps and does that 3-shot?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that was so cool.
Yeah, so there was stuff like that. I was like, wow, this is really cool.
Mhm.
I do feel that the Ares thing, well,
Careful spoilers.
yeah. Well, I liked what they did with it, how they made you think things were gonna work. I thought we were past spoilers.
No, we haven't passed that. You guys have been spoiling on left and right, and I'm like,
Well,
stop
not
it.
really. It's just like names.
I,
It's not like
I thought what they
details.
did with them had a good premise, how they were building out to it, and then after a while it was like, okay, that's interesting, I guess. Overall, I really liked it. I had teary eye in a couple scenes.
Really? What one?
Just
We'll
When'd
talk
you get
about
the
it.
feels?
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
okay. Spoilers.
We'll talk about
I
it.
think overall pretty good. It had some pacing issues, some acting issues here and there. Definitely CGI problems, but I really enjoyed it. As far as I think I'm gonna give it a 9,
Wow.
like a flat 9. Like I said, I have
wow.
problems with acting wise, CGI wise, and stuff like that.
Like any other
the
movie.
pose.
Like any other
Like the
movie.
pose.
Oh, the cheesy
the
pose.
cheesy pose.
Poses in general. A lot of the poses were kind of
Every
like.
superhero movie, though, right?
I don't mind most of her poses actually. And that one I really did mind. That was I think like 2 more.
I didn't mind the undershot poses. Those were great.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it. She did a really good job as portraying this character that I really liked.
Oh, that accent.
Thank you.
Mm-mm-mm.
Perfect. All right. So
Last but
for
not least.
Talk about the Spanish guy named Samir.
he spoke Spanish. Anyway,
He did.
he did at one point. He was speaking in Spanish. Anyway, that's the only way I could think of him. So for me, there were definitely some things that I was like, oh, CGI was one of them. There were some spots in fights that I was like, no.
Which
This is-
ones?
Like,
I
this
wanna
is
hear.
bad. We'll talk about it, I guess.
Dang it.
Cathedral.
At the cathedral,
Okay.
yeah, was one of them.
Okay.
Right outside of that one. Anyway, she was flipping around and flying, and it was a little weird.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I just got pulled out of it because the CGI on that part was a little weird. And with the lasso was
A little
That's
weird.
how it looked.
how it looked.
It's a little
Kind of
weird.
looked like a noodle sometimes. And I was like, this is weird.
Were you wanting thicker a little bit too?
I was wanting it to kind of have more of like, I don't know.
Maybe that heavy
Something.
look we get in superhero
Something,
movies.
and have it like tip instead of like cut off like a noodle.
I know exactly
guess.
what you mean.
To me, it
Anyway.
kind of felt. It didn't feel like it had any weight to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
it
like a
felt
noodle.
controlled with her
It was
mind,
like a
where it was gonna
noodle.
go.
Yeah, it was like a noodle that she was.
I was
just
expecting like a
thrown
heavy
out.
rope. You could actually
It
see
did
the
feel like a rope
definitions
when
in
she
it.
was tying people with
That's
it.
true, but it still looked like a tiny noodle
Yeah,
rope.
When she was doing it, it
But
felt like
it looked
she's
like a
controlling
noodle.
where
It was
goes.
spaghetti.
Yeah, it was
around.
weird.
Yeah, that was a little strange. So that I kind of didn't like. But there were so many things that I loved about this movie. So many emotional things that I ended up crying because I got so into it. The villain, since I didn't know who it was at all, and I was surprised by it, when I saw who it was, I actually got hit with disappointment. I was like, ah, man, this guy.
So
I didn't-
is it because of the actor or the character?
I think the actor didn't help it. And then also, like, the message, the overall message of the movie, I felt like having the actual villain pulled it away. But the more I thought about it, I was like, oh no, actually, I think it did add to it. But in that moment, I felt that it pulled it away
I agree.
from the message of the film.
I agree.
And so, during that first part when she was just talking to him, I was like, no, they just ruined this movie
Yeah,
for
when
me.
I saw that part, I was like, I don't want him to be
Let me-
that. It's just so dumb.
The actor, I think the choice
She
of
was also
actor
small, though.
messed with
Because
it.
of the Harry Potter thing?
Because,
It kind of bothered me a little bit because that's my favorite.
Yes.
no, yes, but also just if I'd just seen that guy, he doesn't fit
Thank
At
you.
in
all.
my mind. He does not fit as that person, and so
That-
I
that's
wanted
a good
someone-
idea, is that person
I
who
wanted
has it.
someone who was more Greek, more chiseled,
I see what you mean. Yeah, I get
not
that.
very British, have the big fluffy
You did see
mustache.
him without his shirt on. He was ripped.
He was. for
CGI.
that.
I know it was a
So-
it doesn't matter.
I have
So
to-
was her.
I have to ask for you guys because to me it was
She had a baby.
to me it wasn't
You didn't know that? She was pregnant during the movie, so she had like they painted her belly green to put the Wonder Woman After Effects on it.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
amazing.
she was doing
She had it
some
for
of the
like 2
movie.
months ago.
I wanted to ask on the villain. Were you guys really that surprised to find out who the villain was? Because to me, I was like, ooh, big surprise. Like I kind of figured that was going to happen. Or did you guys
I
not
wasn't
see that?
expecting-
I wasn't expecting.
Oh,
it
you guys
because
weren't?
I didn't know anything.
Oh.
I didn't even.
I didn't know that-
they
Oh,
actually
enemy.
were gonna have
Spoilers?
videos. Let me
No,
give my
I'm not saying
numbers,
that.
and
Not
then
saying that.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I was like, yeah.
let me give my chibis and then we'll go to spoilers.
And the Chibis.
So anyway, even with all its issues, overall feelings of the movie, 9 out of 10. I love this movie. And when I heard there was going to be a Wonder Woman movie, I was very cautious about it. I was trying not to get too hyped about it because, yeah, I like women in movies who are the star, but I also know there's always a lot of hate. And, like, why can't we have a Batman film that's as good as whatever? You know? And so I felt
watch all the Underworlds.
when this is, for me, better than Batman vs. Superman.
Okay, yeah.
By
Fair
far.
enough. Fair enough.
Like what we were
So-
stating before.
So for me, I was very cautious when I heard the reviews, and I was like, "Oh, I don't like. I want it to be good, but will people like be mad when it's not?"
See, I really want
When
the
Batman
Flash
vs.
to
Superman
be good.
sucked
That's what I'm most
versus
worried
this.
about.
Yeah.
So
No, yeah, I
Because
get
Flash is one of my favorite heroes. I want him to be good. But Wonder Woman deserved this, and Gal Gadot
Mm-hmm.
I've always
good
loved.
dough.
But you guys know I'm biased. Fast and Furious is like one of my favorite franchises,
Yeah.
so I love Gal Gadot by that. But she did great, by
Yeah.
the way. And her accent, woo!
All right, so let's move into the spoilers now. So if you haven't seen the
Spoilers.
movie and you don't want to hear spoilers, you
We
can.
got 3 seconds.
You
3.
have
You gotta
10
add
seconds
a big
to
old
leave.
spoiler.
3 seconds to
look
leave?
at it.
Okay, 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, let's get into spoilers, guys.
And now, world premiere from Diego.
Everybody dies. No, I'm kidding.
Okay,
Wait, how does this work?
Okay, so the movie starts off in
Technically,
the
this is a long
island,
time
in
ago.
their island. What's the island? What's the island?
Mascara.
The Mascara. Yeah.
no. It starts off
Oh,
today.
yeah. It starts off modern times. Wonder
Right
Woman.
now, today?
Wonder
Right
Woman
now,
is
today.
Diana is going to her work or to some place.
Anyway, she's at an office and she
And
gets
then-
something from.
Bruce Wayne.
Bruce
she gets
Wayne.
a
Picture.
original picture of her and her crew.
Good idea.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. I love that.
And
picture.
it starts off there,
That
and
was a
she
really
talks
good-
about her. She talks about like, I don't know. It kind of seemed very Spider-Man's like, oh, to be a hero, blah blah blah. I don't know.
It's sort of like a comic book. It's fine.
Yeah, and then it goes off, starts her off
I
showing her as a
loved
little
how
kid.
they did this, though. I loved that they did it as a remembrance rather than
Filler.
rather than hopping back in time and saying, you know, this came before this. Rather than doing that, they brought it into today's cinematic universe and said, look, this is her remembering her past.
I really like. I know
I
I
love
sound
that.
cheesy, but it was on the computer and actually said if like from and it said Bruce Wayne. I just thought that was. I know it sounds so simple, but it was really cool to see like that. Knowing you got Diana talking to Bruce Wayne, and it's in that universe and it's connected. It just I don't know. I know it sounds cheesy, but it just gave me goosebumps.
And I think
Yeah.
it was a good thing because after that, you didn't see anything else.
Yeah, it just
No
makes you
ties to
sure that like just this
Nothing.
is. Yeah,
I'm glad because it made her movie more standalone than it would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also gave you that idea of like there's that bigger universe she's going to be attached to. You know. That's what
Yes,
I
and
love.
that's what the whole point of this movie is, or like movies.
Yeah.
Can we just say that the theme is really good to this?
Theme.
Yeah, that's
Well, they keep singing it. We
like
gotta
it.
hear it.
He was
No, I never hated it. The trailers sound awesome. Heather, you want to go into because you know more of the details of what you want to do.
So then they're in.
Here comes the Heather Power Hour. everybody.
Then they go to the island
Power
that
play.
she grew up on.
The
And
Mascara.
yes. And
She's a cute little
she's
kid.
a cute little girl.
Thank you.
So cute. And she's over there like fighting, like
Oh yeah, like watch
Imitating-
him fight. Like ooh.
Imitating all the fighters. while
throwing
she's
her
watching.
punches and trying to be a fighter too.
Yeah.
You
And-
guys having a daughter had to hit you a soft spot on that.
Oh my gosh.
I did, and I was like, her form is bad.
Like if Jose like
No, so the part of this whole thing that hit me was when Diana was leaving the island and her mom came up. And her mom stood there and was like, you know, if you leave, you can't come back and all this stuff. And I could see the heartbreak on her mom's face. And then she gets on the boat to leave. And then the other Amazonian is like, why didn't you tell her? And she said, I have to protect her. And it just, that's the first time I cried in the movie.
Second.
Can we talk about
Oh, I know,
spoiler?
yeah.
Can we talk
In
about
the
spoilers
movie.
on that so I don't follow the lore? What would no
We're
no
doing
no that's what I
spoilers.
meant. I meant like can you get into the nitty gritty about that part? What were they hiding on that? I didn't get that part.
That she's the daughter of a god.
Oh, is that was
That
what
she
meant.
is a god.
Oh, okay,
She is a
okay,
god, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
We were going to
That's
get
why
into
I
that
remember
eventually.
When she breaks the sword,
Yeah.
aka the fake god killer, she's like, what? And then Ares is like, you don't get it? You're the god killer. on equal terms of
Mhm.
So she's kind of like, in a sense, like a Hercules, right? In
Yeah.
a sense, yeah.
She's a god.
But
But it's like just seeing the mom protect her in that way was like, and I just lost it.
Hey, did you guys notice when she was a little kid, the transition from her to a kid was a teenager? I didn't even realize they switched actresses. It really looked like the girl grew up 3 years. Like, it was like whoever they did.
They
It
just
could have been her
Did you
sister.
notice that? That's what I thought. I was like,
They
that older
usually
sister.
try and go for stuff like that.
The teenager looked just like the little kid. I was like, what the heck?
But then there was a big jump from her.
Yeah, and then you're like, ooh, a supermodel.
Like, whoa.
Victoria's Secret. Yeah.
The mascara.
So she's going through puberty. She's growing up.
Oh, she grew
She's
up.
training, and her mom
buy
in the
some
beginning.
tampons.
Well, no, in the beginning, her mom. No, in the beginning, her mom didn't want her to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when she's a teenager, she gets caught fighting with her aunt, training with her aunt, and
By the way, that actress is amazing.
I don't remember her name, but yeah,
She's awesome.
the aunt was talking to the mom, telling her that she needs to train because something can happen. So the mother says, "Okay, you can," and she says, "I want you to train her so she'll be better than everyone else, better than you, but you must never let her know." And eventually, all that stuff happens. She gets older and she starts fighting, and she's like beating people, and she's fighting her aunt, and they're doing a sword fight, and then she like disarms her aunt, and her aunt gets really pissed, and she says, "Don't ever," or because she gets distracted, she's looking at her mom.
She
And
looks
she says,
like-
"Don't get distracted. Like a fight's never over until it's over." And then they start fighting more, and Wonder Woman does her little bracelet block thing, and she does a power surge thing. It's pretty cool, and she's like curious about what's going on.
Yeah.
After that, what was it? She
After
starts walking
that-
away.
Right after that, she walked.
She walked
She walks away.
and Trevor came.
Yeah,
Now
Trevor
that
came in
was
a plane.
cool. That's what I want to talk about most of all. Was the Bermuda Triangle? Is that in the comics, Jose?
I don't think so.
I don't think it's a Bermuda. That's what I was thinking. Maybe
It's-
just the
It's
movie.
just
Similar to
implied.
that.
Zeus protected it. You know, that's his.
Considering
dying
we
thing
have
is
to
that-
think about where the war was.
Yeah.
Belgium, Germany,
Well,
And
because
where
there's
they
3
were
Bermuda
going.
triangles in the world. 3.
and where they were going, which was London. So he would have crossed over. What's that sea? Anyway, it's between like Scandinavia and
Yeah,
Denmark.
something like that.
Mhm.
So somewhere in there would be where it is.
And I think the other one's over by Japan, I believe. The other Bermuda.
I just found it funny that anybody could fly in there. It's like you would think that in all those years,
But-
maybe some.
But what makes me wonder is when she did the power surge,
Uh-huh.
is that what opened it
Oh,
up
I never thought
to
about
say
that.
maybe that
Could
broke
be.
it?
That's
and
a
so
good
then
idea.
People could come in.
It could be.
No,
Nothing
that's a
would
good
stress out.
idea.
Well, I mean, I'm curious because when like we're going to skip a couple things. When they started coming, when the Germans started coming, the one of the big ships was starting to sink.
Yeah. that
So
was
do you think
really
it's such
sense.
just something like when they go in there, they can't have too many things that they start sinking, and so they use the other
It
boats?
just doesn't make sense, though.
Maybe it's protected by the god, like there's a power to it.
That's what I was thinking. That
Maybe
it would have
'cause-
been protected, but then why would anybody be let in? You know.
Well, we can,
Yeah.
well, they
Maybe
got
they
That
killed by
power
the
surge makes
Amazonians.
sense for that
That's,
theory. What
that's
Heather
what I
said.
thought.
Because the director said that there were basically no scenes cut from this movie. Basically, everything made it into the movie. So
Really?
now that I think about it, why the heck was the major boat falling, like, sinking?
That's what I'm saying. I think maybe it's because like it's protected by the gods, and it like it forces it to. Because I mean,
You would
what
think
about
that the
what about
protection would be a lot
Trevor's?
better.
What about Trevor's plane? It didn't get shut down. He didn't say it get shut down. It just started crashing.
I have a,
So that's what I'm thinking.
There's a couple plot holes.
Well, then on top of that, when he's looking at the compass, and
'Cause if
his
anybody
compass
could
was
walk
going
in, why doesn't
haywire.
Ares just
but it
walk
can't
in
necessarily be a plot hole because we haven't got any answers to prove it or debunk it. But I was wondering, what about Aquaman? Do you think they might do something similar in a way with his story, like being behind some kind of barrier, like with Atlantis and all that?
there? I
Or
think he's just gonna be like, he's way deep down.
okay.
Well, because he's not going to be crushed by the pressure of the water. So
No, I know, but his whole
Nobody
land
into
and
it.
like in the trailer, you see like Bruce meet him, like those people in that like
But it
cabin
seems
area.
like he got. And this with Aquaman, it seems like they're getting with the Aquaman that got like kicked out of Atlantis. So
Okay.
he's here with the humans now, and
Mate,
that's why he's
okay.
drunk and he's trying to.
Is Aquaman considered a god in the universe or no?
he's just really strong.
Just strong man. Okay.
Anyway, so continuing on with that, Gal Gadot meets up with Trevor because he crash lands. She saves him, and then all hell breaks loose right when she saves
That
him.
was cool, yeah.
Yeah, it was
That
no
was
slow.
cool.
There was like during that whole part, it wasn't slow pacing. It just kind of went.
It went very fast.
Yeah, and the Germans started coming, and then that's when I was talking about the whole the boat started sinking. And before that happens, Diana's mother comes and is like, "What are you doing here? Why are you trying to protect him?" She's like, blah 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 blah. And then they see the ships coming and they start fighting, preparing, and a lot of people died. And
I felt the fight scene there kind of reminded me of 300 in a way.
Yeah.
Did that guys remind you of that at all? And they're like running, they're just like messing everyone up. I'm like, damn, it's like the
And
Spartans,
then
man.
that guy was saying earlier, the choreography was amazing in those
Yes.
scenes.
The acrobats.
The bow and arrow thing, the lady who was kind of like Attack on Titan, she's like, "Ooh, shoo, shoo, shoo."
Attack on Titan.
That was pretty cool, yeah.
It's
It was
they
cool
don't
to
have
see them
do-
like when they first land and they look up and you just see like all these girls like running to the top of the cliff, just like swinging down ropes.
That's
If
what
I
they
saw
was
that, I'd
talking
be
about,
shit
yeah.
myself. I'm like,
They're running down and then she shoots her.
I look at this guy, I'm like,
Paddle back, everybody.
Yeah, let's
Paddle
just
back. We ain't got
reverse.
this. We got bullets, but we ain't got this.
Yeah.
We ain't got
Just
this.
the fighting in general was amazing. Like the slow mo things, or when one of the girls had like a whip and she was hitting the sand to blind the guys, and she like did like a backspin on her horse to like go back to normal.
oh, that was rad. Yeah.
It's just like everything in the choreography was amazing.
Yeah, and what was cool to me is I had read an article beforehand about how they used athletes for that.
Oh, like
All those
gymnasts and stuff,
women-
probably.
all those
female
women were
athletes.
huge. That's why there's no way they couldn't. You know,
No,
Yeah.
they did good solid on that.
and it worked because they didn't talk too much, so you couldn't be like, "Oh, these guys suck at acting."
It just reminded me of 300 actors dying, I guess, but it was badass.
Yeah, it was great.
But yeah, and then like people started dying. And Diana, I guess, was fighting people, and so was Trevor. And the aunt was trying to she was kicking ass. She was like she did the 3-arrow
She's
shot.
a 3-arrow girl, man.
And she saw Diana was I guess kind of off
takes
guard.
links
She
and
wasn't really
stuff.
paying attention. And some guy was about to shoot her, and she like runs for it and just takes the bullet straight on. And it was just an intense moment.
I
That's when
hated that scene when she died.
she dies and everything. And yeah,
That character was awesome, man. Her aunt was so cool.
And that's when it started.
The
And that's
bathing
when-
scene?
Alright.
I'm above average.
let's just skip a
Yes.
couple.
Skip ahead.
So-
we're not gonna retell the whole movie.
So Heather was saying
I'm sorry, that
she,
scene was
she was getting so Diana's like, "I'll help you," because they're talking about needing help to save millions of people.
Like there's a war going on. What
Yeah.
war?
Let's skip ahead to the war,
Okay.
to when they go out to the war. Because the stuff in London,
Yeah, well,
they
Heather
were
said-
funny, but I was really annoyed that all the secretaries' lines were ruined by the trailer. So the one trailer I saw,
And it's
half
the
her
only
lines were in
thing
it.
from that part that seemed very
Secretary was
demoralizing
The secretary
She was
for
great.
hilarious.
women in that sense, because it seemed like because back then there wasn't no equal rights for women, so it was very like women were in the back. So it's kind of strange in my
My
point of
world,
view.
we call that slavery.
Yeah, it was-
Um.
she needed more lines. She was awesome.
So yeah,
Yeah.
The whole thing is Trevor gave a book saying that he has the plans of what this crazy lady with poison wants to do, and so he's like, "I want to go do something." The commander says no,
Wow, Diego's gonna give the whole movie.
and
No
now
need
he
to
gets
go
a group.
see it.
He gets a group of people. This is spoilers, so
The
they're gonna know.
spoilers part, most of these people should have already watched the movie.
That's true.
So
let's just get on the
skip to
things we can talk
skip to
about.
the war.
Recruitment or okay to the war. They go to the war.
They go to the war.
Front
They're
lines.
they're in the trenches.
Yeah.
Which, if you don't know, trenches are dug down and they're at the
Like
edge
10
of this
10
battlefield that's called No Man's Land,
Yes.
where you're not supposed to cross it because you're going to get shot and killed.
Yep.
And as they're going through the trenches and they're going to try and find their way in to Belgium, I think they're going into Belgium at this time.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
it was going to be a day's hike to get to Belgium, but if they went straight through, it would have
They
been like a
went
couple
around.
hours or something.
Yeah.
One of them was like, screw
And
this
then-
shit.
A mother and her child reaches out to Diana and is like, "You need to help us, help the people in the village. They're starving. They're killing us. Like,
They're
we
enslaving
need
them."
help." And when she comes to Trevor about this, he's like, "No, you can't save everyone, and you can't cross No Man's Land." And when she was like, "Forget you," and she went up the ladder and started just walking across the field, I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes!"
That's when she became that's when she was like this superhero you're waiting to see.
Yes. And then when the first bullet comes, she just looks at it and just kink. And then she just like looks at the bullet like nothing, then just slowly turns back, and I'm like, oh, shit's going down.
And then at one point, when she starts running towards the village,
Yeah.
you can see on her face the anger and the compassion as well in her face at that moment for these people who are being killed in the village. And I just started crying because I was like, oh my gosh, like this is the perfect depiction for me of what a hero should be. It's not someone who just ignores the problem and finds their way around just because it's easier. She just went into it and was like, yeah, whatever. If you're coming with me, great. If not, see ya. And she just stepped up and did it. And so for me, that was such a powerful moment, and I was bawling.
Speaking on
I'm
what
emotional.
she mentioned too about like the superhero stepping up, because I know there's controversy between fans. How did you feel? Like personally, I liked it that she would actually kill for the better good. How did you guys feel about that?
I was thinking about that. I mean, I don't mind it because she's a warrior. And her,
They didn't bullshit it.
Hey, you need to knock them out and then put them back in bed.
Yeah, they only
she's
pull-
like, you gotta do
pull
it.
a Batman.
And the thing on top of that is she was, when she was training, they're using the swords, but whenever they hit the person, they'd hit the broadside part of it, so they would hit him. They're never meant to kill. And then what her aunt told her, your fight's never over until it's over. So it means you have to kill. And as far as I know, Wonder Woman's never did a pledge like Superman or Batman where I would never kill
no.
anybody. So she's free to do whatever the hell
No,
she
I
wants.
just said how you liked it. Like,
Oh, I
did you
love it.
mind
I didn't
Okay.
care.
And
I didn't
on
care.
top of that, you gotta think that she has seen firsthand that those people are not and really don't care.
Yeah.
Whether you
don't
kill
care.
them
They're
or
killing
they're
babies and
killing-
everything.
Yeah.
That's what I loved, because what I hate about superhero movies is they're like, oh yeah, they're killing women and children, but we're just gonna knock them out and leave them on the side of the
So
road.
they can wake up and do it
so
again.
they can wake up and keep going.
Yeah.
But she was like, no, you're killing women and children. You deserve to die.
It is kind of funny if you think about it, though, because at the end, she has this whole spiel with Ares talking about how men are always good. I do find it a little bit weird with that style of mentality where she has no remorse about killing people. That part, it doesn't
Sure,
kind of
yeah,
fit,
yeah.
but it does make sense beforehand. Before all that, it does make sense.
That's why I was curious on your opinions, because
Yeah.
that part was that awesome scene when she's running. I loved how she blocked the trench with her shield when the machine gun was, because that's why they didn't go. It was a machine gun. She's just holding it down, and then the front line get up, and then they just come to attack, and that's when they just start murdering everyone and saving everyone. And then they're like, "Thank you." Remember when the ladies come to him like,
Yeah.
"Thank you so much. You
The
saved our town. You
gratitude.
saved my baby." And she was like proud. She's like, "I did good. This is what I was meant to do. I'm a
Yeah.
warrior for
Well,
this."
the thing is if you think about it this way too, is rather kill a few hundred men than 20 million people dying.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's
I'd
that greater
rather
good
do,
thing,
yeah.
right?
And that's what she's. That's
that's
what
the
she's
other
like.
thing. The gratitude scene from those villagers is something you don't see a lot in hero movies.
That is true. You
don't
don't.
see the people who are saved get to be grateful,
Yes.
because they usually just skip right past that and move the story
Or like
along.
the Avengers. Oh, I'm mad at them. They destroyed our whole city.
Well, because
You know,
we're in the
you know,
21st century, though.
Yes,
We're in
you're
the
one
21st
percent.
century, though, because I mean, this is the Great War,
Oh,
and
God.
so like you're losing everything no matter what. So
But
it
it was
makes
more personal too, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, she was saving a lot of people, but at that time it was very concentrated on that,
that
little
village,
population, that little village. That was good.
Yeah.
which was perfect to the whole theme of the movie.
That was cool.
Which
That's our
was
beginning, you
the
know?
love.
I do want to say that as much as I like the little crew they assembled, they really didn't do much of anything.
No.
Yeah, I like the characters, but when you
only
think, I just like the
Native
interaction.
American
The
They
guy,
didn't do
because I
much.
knew where he was
guy.
going. That was
He
it.
was
Smoke
dope.
Well,
signals.
Samir
doing
was tight
car.
because he was an actor and he was like he could like talk his way out of stuff. Which was
Oh, yeah,
the only
in
thing
the
he did
car.
was get into the castle.
Oh, thank you. Bless you.
How he
Thousand
looked,
blessings.
you remind me of the guy from the first Prey game. You remember
Yeah.
that?
We talked about the guy,
Sharpshooter.
the sharpshooter who couldn't,
He was
who
completely
couldn't
useless.
shoot, and all he ended up doing was sing.
Sing.
Yeah, the thing is, like the day before, he has a nightmare. Something happens, right? You could tell that
He's
you don't know
messed up
exactly
from the
what
war.
Something
He has
happened. He lost
PTSD.
somebody, maybe a friend, maybe his wife. Something happened that snaps him there. So you see that, but then the next time, I have two issues with that. So let's go a little bit forward. In the village, he's about to kill the shooter that's in
The sniper.
church.
Yeah.
But then he hesitates. He's like, "No, I can't do it," But the thing that I have a problem with that is in between those two scenes, him having the nightmare and him going to shoot, there's the barracks or...
Oh, when they're going through the trenches and he
The
kills
trenches-
a
the
he's killed a
trenches-
couple of people
No,
there.
not only that, but the fact is Wonder Woman goes out. She's like, F it, I'm going to go. And then Chris Pine's like, let's go. And then he's not like... you don't see him be afraid, like, maybe I shouldn't. No, he's like, okay, let's go. And he runs out. So he's not
He's
really
not
afraid.
consistent.
Yeah.
He's not
It's
consistent.
like when he zooms through the sniper, it has to hold the breathing. It's like something goes through his head. I mean, I can't talk because we're not in the military, but who knows? But he was pointless in
I
the movie.
understand that, but
It just feels like he
it
didn't
felt
have that
strange.
consistency.
It did feel strange. It was almost
was-
like, why
yeah,
add him?
because it-
For,
And
yeah,
then
I'm saying
and then the
inconsistency.
singing, like it was great, and
it's
she was
charming,
like,
right?
she was like,
Yeah.
we need you to sing for us, but it never came back up. I thought somehow in the end of it, he would start like singing to let her know
Or
they
you
were
know,
there.
that'd been a greater thing
Or
is if
something like
they
that.
thought they were gonna die.
when we were riding the horses, but that was
Well,
Or-
right after.
Or would have been greater was if they were about like during the ending scene, and I thought like they were gonna die in that area. If he was to sing like a sad song,
Yeah.
then it would have been like, oh, okay,
Yeah, I wanna
he
see
would have been
That would
useful.
have been great, but
was-
I wanted to see him do something useful
Yeah, he
one
was
more time
completely-
because he was
he's
just
Jigglypuff.
there.
What was that movie? Because he's the same actor that did that singing where he had the pipes or whatever, the bagpipes, and he's singing in the. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's that war movie. But the singing worked for that scene.
Yeah.
So they're like, what is he doing? He's distracting, and then they came and swarmed behind. So
Yeah.
his singing really didn't do much. His sniping didn't do crap.
He
It
did
just-
it one time.
So he felt a little useless.
A little
but the
useless.
other ones, they had subtle things that helped. So
Samir
that's why I
and
kept
the
waiting
Navajo
for
guy,
him to
or
have
Native
something.
American.
Yeah, so as far as they go, I think again we spend a bit of time. You have to, you know,
You have to get some extras, yeah.
But it just felt like they didn't really do much of anything.
Yeah.
That this guy's a really fun shoot, but he can't shoot.
I mean, Chris Pine was obviously he did
He was
fine.
good.
He was great.
That's fine.
I really liked him because you see that he knows about the world. Obviously, he's been through wars, and he sees this innocence, in a sense, from Wonder Woman, and he's always trying to protect that.
I like he didn't feel
wanted
useless
to,
though.
yeah, like because
As a
he
human.
knew she was stronger than him, but he wanted to protect her because he didn't want her innocence to be lost.
Yeah,
He did it in
He
his
knew
own
he
way.
did his best to keep her innocence.
Yeah.
Like even though like she's like, oh, you sleep with women. He's like, no. You know what you mean? Like
Yeah,
those
he's-
questions.
And then he mentioned the marriage part. And she's like, marriage? What's that? You know, like he was a pretty good guy, right?
Yeah.
But I like that he, even though he didn't have the powers, he was there to protect her, help in the way he could. Like, remember the church scene when what's his name couldn't snipe? He decided to grab that door piece from the shank, yeah, and then
boost her
lift
up.
her and then push her up
Right.
with a jump. I mean, he was thinking on the spot, like, if I can't do this for her, I'm going to figure out
I
ways
have
to
to
help.
be helpful for her in any way I can.
He was supportive in the best way he could be as a human. It was phenomenal.
the great support of it.
And-
I do find it funny that nobody was kind of like, oh, what the hell? Like, this is something different here. She just took out an old church. Everybody's grateful, and
That
they
was-
should be, but nobody was like, there's something to this.
That I was wondering because that the destruction of that church looks so real. I was wondering that didn't look CGI. So it's but that's like a really like if they did destroy that, I don't know why they would because that's a really historical church.
Well, no,
So I was wondering
obviously
how
they
they
could have
did
built
that.
it and destroyed it.
I guess
They could have
yeah.
put like half the bottom half could have been like wood and then like fake brick looking thing, and then the
Yeah.
top could have been real brick and then blew it
because
up.
the destruction looked really real
They
at that
could've done
scene. I was
that.
like,
I mean,
whoa! I
obviously.
was like, did they really just destroy that? Holy crap!
So that kind of leads us into the
Next
now
part.
We talk about like the bad guy in a sense.
Yeah,
the
Heather,
bad
you had
guys-
something to say about Ares, right?
Poison, and we have
Oh, sorry.
What's his
The
face?
general.
I can't remember.
He was a good general. He was a good bad guy. I thought he was
He's been in a
very
few
good.
other movies, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Here's where the twist kind of comes in: is where this poison lady, you know, this alchemist, is like trying to
Good
build
word.
She was
poison.
awesome. I love that mask they put on
She
her.
did good, yeah, and he did good too. The
They
general, I
they
can't
did
remember
really
his name.
good.
But then she gives him this thing. It's like, hey, this arrived. You know, I want you to have it, kind of like for power type of thing.
Yeah.
She said she made this the night before
Yeah,
because
like a holistic
when the guy
power.
took her book of poisons,
Yeah.
she's like, I made this new poison, but it's not a
To
poison.
give you strength. And then he cracks it, and then he smells it, right? And it's kind of like you can see this light, and then he gets stronger with it. I was like, oh, okay, so Ares is kind of like in this container somehow, you know.
Or he's
remains
working with it or
or
something.
something, yeah. Because so it's building up that this guy is gonna be Ares somehow. He's gonna
But yeah, you know what I mean?
he's gonna
That's what it
smell
seemed. It
like
was cool.
100 of this, and he's gonna turn into Ares.
Or like fall into a pit of it or something.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, okay, that's Ares. But then, spoilers, it comes to the end fight. Wonder Woman kills him.
He beats him easily because he even takes the dose of that, and he did a good
The
1-2
fight scene
punches.
was cool in that, even though it was short. I liked it.
He did a couple of good 1-2 punches, but like you can't overpower Diana's strength
Yeah,
because
she-
she's way too
And
strong.
she's a fighter. He's not. He's
Yes.
just a general.
Yeah,
So she kills him like flat out.
Yeah.
And then
Realizes,
there comes
yeah.
the problem with Heather, they'll probably get into a little bit later. But then you see that he wasn't really Ares. He was just being given like supernatural powers. And then you see who Ares was at that point.
He reminded me of that Red Skull.
Yeah, that's
Fill in
sense.
a
Yeah,
way.
that's what I was thinking.
Well, yeah,
And I think
Germans.
that's probably why they try to stay away from that.
I agree. It just really reminded me. Not that I had a problem with it. I was just
and
saying.
now we have the problem with Nemesis.
this is when it
Lupin.
gets the twist.
I
My
wanna
favorite teacher.
I wanna talk about this.
Okay, had to go.
So after she kills Ludendorff, I think is his
There
name.
you go.
The general Ludendorff, she's like, what the heck? Like it didn't stop. And that's when Trevor comes up, because everyone was still doing the destruction, and she was like, what? Nothing stopped. Nothing changed. And Trevor comes up, and he's like, look, not all people are good. Not everybody is a good guy. And
even myself, I did.
Her acting in that was great, I thought. She was very...
She looked so crushed and defeated.
Yes.
Like, all of her beliefs just fell apart in that moment.
Yes.
And I wanted her to stand there and look around and realize, way to go, Miles.
Oh, was that loud? I'm
Yes.
Sorry.
I wanted her to, I was waiting for her to look around and to realize, you're right, not all people are good, and all we can do is help the good guys defeat the bad guys.
I think it would have been good, because even right there, when I was thinking that, when she's kind of like doing all this, she looks down and she sees Trevor and the four of the guys just by themselves run off and try to stop this. I was
trying to stop
okay,
it.
cool,
I wanted her to do that. I wanted her to have that realization that, hey, not all people are good. Because her mom at the beginning of the movie said, not all, men aren't all good.
Men's hearts are easily
swayed and all this stuff. And I wanted her to realize, yeah, she was right. But there are good people.
Yes. And it's like how you said, Jose, she's very naive the whole movie, which I like because she came from a different world.
That's why I was like, oh, she's gonna, this is her light bulb moment where it's suddenly...
Evil is Ares.
Yes. That's all. It's evil of everything.
That's all it is.
I'll kill him, and they find him. He's like...
And that's what disappointed me when he actually showed up, because then I was like, crap, she's going to kill him and it's going to end, and her thinking is going to continue. Granted, it didn't, but just when he actually showed up, I was like, no, this ruined the movie for me. In that moment, I was so mad, and I was like, no,
two things about it ruined is Ares came in.
The actor ruined it.
Well, he was a good actor, but he should not have been Ares.
He shouldn't have been Ares. He was the wrong choice.
He is a good actor.
But Lupin, why?
I think there's a lot of problems with people seeing
he's my favorite teacher from Harry Potter, so I laugh when he's bad. I'm like, Lupin's a bad guy?
Yeah, that's
so weird.
That was hard to get past, but then just the overall, even if it had been someone different, I think I still, in that moment, would have been upset, because I wanted to see her realize, look, we have to just help the good guys. Help the people who need help.
Yes.
And the bad guys, we have to stop them. Yeah. Stop them from causing all this destruction. And so I was a little, really in that moment, just about ready to walk out, because I was so mad that they actually had a god villain in that moment. Anyway.
Yeah, because he didn't really do much.
Ended up being...
He just, talked like he was a whisper in their ears to these people that started the war.
And I warmed up to that, because in my mind, with my
he didn't
religion...
force anybody, which I liked.
With my religion, I thought, oh yeah, well that sounds like Satan, so moving on. So I warmed up to him as a villain before the end, but I still...
He was kind of laughable.
Still thinking back to it, I'm still disappointed that they didn't go with, look,
yes.
People are bad.
I would have been okay if he would have shown up at the end, but not been defeated or been fighting. He would be like, oh, she only knows the tip of the iceberg of what's going on. And then Wonder Woman 2. And then you're like, oh, okay, so he really was behind it, but he doesn't need to be shown. Like in the Marvel movies, Thanos is the big bad guy, but he's never shown until the very end for a minute or two.
So if I'm understanding, Heather, because this is what I'm kind of getting from you, so it's kind of like with Ares, it's cool if he's a bad guy in a way, but really what you're looking at is the God of War is all the evil of mankind. It doesn't have to be one guy they're fighting.
Exactly.
Right, that's what you're getting at.
Exactly. I wanted it to be an overall concept that throughout mankind, there's a bad guy.
You're never going to defeat one guy and it ends everything.
Exactly, because you're not.
Yes. No, men's hearts easily swayed.
And that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted the message of the movie to be. So I wanted her to realize that, and then focus the rest of the movie on stopping.
Yes.
Maybe a big thing that's going to stop the war from a gas bomb or something.
Personally, that would have been a much more powerful movie to me.
Yeah,
because what I'm gonna slaughter again. Is it Tyler or what is it? Trevor. Trevor.
He has a first name, but we just call him
Trevor. So Trevor with him when he sacrifices himself in the plane because of the gas bombs. But to me, what Heather's saying is he did what is for the better good. He wasn't fighting the one boss Ares guy. What he did was he sacrificed himself to protect hundreds of thousands of people in this gas bomb. He knew the real villain. He knew it wasn't, like you said, he knew it wasn't Ares. Or it doesn't matter who you kill, Diana, it's not going to be one person. And then he took these bombs to protect everyone else from the bigger picture because that was what Heather's getting at.
I think
He was fighting the war.
Now that I'm thinking about it, it kind of does make sense the way that you have to think about it, because in the DC world, in the DC universe, right now we're living with two different ideals, so two different styles, well, two different worlds altogether. You have Diana, goddess. She comes from an era where there are gods. Ares is a god. We know that from the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
He's real. And then we have Chris Pine that comes from our view, basically. You know, gods, superheroes. These things don't exist. People are evil. So you have these two things. So really, there can't be like, oh yeah, but Ares is actually, the idea of a god, that everybody's bad.
But it would have been fine for him to be a god, but I just wish that he didn't actually show up
I know what
and
you're saying, but
be the villain, and when she defeated him, it all stopped.
Right.
I wish that didn't happen.
And I agree with you on that end, but it does make sense as to why he's there.
Yeah.
Why he has to be there.
Yeah.
Diana's there.
Yeah.
'Cause she's
They need to
really-
And
have
it did
someone-
have to validate her
Strength
beliefs
Yeah.
and her knowing,
set herself in stone.
because otherwise
what
she wouldn't
said.
have known that she was the god killer, because he's the one who told her.
Yeah.
So that was necessary, but I feel that he shouldn't have been destroyed. He should have.
If he was there
should
and
have
talked
gone
to
away
her, yes.
and said, "I'll always be here. I'll always poison the hearts of men," and disappear. That
would
would
have
have been a great ending
Do you
for
remember-
her to end the war and him
do you
to
remember?
still be out there.
Do you remember in the beginning?
I think that would have been way more powerful.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
I think one of the problems that I have with all of it is not the very end, but the very end of that battle, where you have, you see the three guys coming back out. They pull out their masks. They're like, oh, I can't believe we survived. But then you see the German dudes pulling out their masks, basically, and they're not attacking them anymore.
Yeah, they're like happy and they're
happy,
crying and they're hugging
this is
each
what
other.
I have my problem with, and not the Ares fight or anything like that. This is where I have my problem, because, in a sense, you're saying that Ares does indeed, and I guess it doesn't make sense. Like, if you're in the vicinity of Ares in his full form of God of War, then you're probably gonna have this.
That would make
rage
sense.
feelings.
Yeah.
'Cause you see when.
But
I'm trying to
then,
explain
but
this
then
in
the
a
good
sense.
guys would be affected.
Yeah, but then you see Wonder Woman being affected in a sense. Once Chris Pine dies, she's about to murder, and she goes
The
murdering
poison
everybody.
lady.
Well, not only that, but all the guys. Remember,
Yeah,
she
she,
goes
like,
and attacks. She
blew
doesn't
them up.
care if Samir, because she knows Samir is there, but she doesn't
Yeah.
care about that. She's not looking out for them. She's attacking whatever she sees.
Yeah.
So it does affect her in a sense. So I guess maybe they could have implied to something like that. Like, hey, he's in the vicinity, he's evil, so he's gonna affect people around him.
Yeah. It was just there's some loose ends. I
There's no
think.
sense like that, but yeah, I do agree with you that him dying and then
You know
she's
what
coming
a-
back down and everybody's like,
You know what it would have been better is if he was more like. Do you remember in the beginning when the aunt was talking to the mom and she said he's recovering his power?
Yeah.
I was hoping more of the sense like his body is destroyed and he was more of like an astral form and like an evil spirit to
That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
haunt.
That's
And
why he
that
was
would have been
gonna take
perfect for
over
like
the
how
throne.
Heather was saying, "I'll always be here in the hearts of men."
That's
Because that would
what I
have
was
been amazing
hoping.
because she would never
Because
be able to
she would
beat
never
him.
truly win, but she could help the good.
And that would have been amazing.
Survive.
That would have been
Basically how
amazing.
it
That
is
would have
in-
been-
in the comic books, basically.
Yeah, and that
That
would have
would've
been
been amazing.
brilliant.
I would have loved it.
But this
So-
ending, it validated all her beliefs and basically, like, I guess all of Chris Pine's,
That
Trevor's
still
character,
remains, though.
it still remains, but in her mind, it was this, and it's still this. And once he
But
went
she's
away,
adopting it,
it's
though.
gone.
I guess that makes. I was thinking about this because we know, and the way that you explain it kind of makes sense now. Because we know that from Batman vs Superman, she's gone. She doesn't stay after this fight. She just fades away.
Yeah.
And then Batman vs Superman, she comes back, and she says, I had troubles. I don't remember the exact line, but she's like, I have troubles with people. Like, they show me that they were evil. So maybe she still has this mentality that Ares was kind of like the base of it. But as she leaves, she sees World War II. So she's like, what the hell?
World War II.
So it
Cold
only
War.
makes sense
Vietnam,
that
the-
she's like, somehow she's like, you know what? You guys are beyond saving, so I need to go.
Mhm.
And so she disappears.
And so, like,
guess it
for
makes
me,
sense with
it's
that.
more of a, like, she's still gonna struggle with with this belief of Ares that she grew up
Yeah.
believing in. If my whole world was rocked like that and I saw something that validated it, I saw Ares, I saw him destroyed, and everything went away, and then it comes back, my personal life would be thrown on its heels going, what's the truth?
So then,
What's right about it?
I guess
That's why I wish that Ares hadn't been destroyed and he just said, I'll still be here to
would've
poison
been
the
a
hearts
good
of men
way,
and
yeah.
leave and be gone. And then he's still out there and she knows that,
Right.
he's still going to be doing this,
But
but,
then there's no reason for her
men
to
can
leave,
make a
though.
choice.
Yeah.
They'll
I guess that's
probably
why I'm
explain
looking at
more
it now.
things later.
It's not. I highly doubt that they planned for that, but it does make sense for her to be heartbroken.
Yeah.
Not only because of Chris Pine's death, but because she's getting to the realization that Ares might affect people, but people are evil, so there's no helping them. We know World War II, the Vietnam War, right?
Yeah.
And stuff. Like all these other wars happened after that. So she's gone. For 100 years, she said that she didn't come in contact with man again until Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I guess it does make sense. But I'm not going to say that DC actually planned for that.
No.
Because they don't give you any
They don't think.
realization
Yeah, they don't think about stuff.
I do want
All
to
the way
go back though, to say the part that I did like get teary-eyed was right where she gets knocked out by Ares, and then Chris Pine is running towards the
Oh
airplane
yeah,
to stop
and she
it,
can't hear.
and she can't hear.
But she
And then he's
remembers
like
it.
talking to her, and you have like the bomb time where she's like,
Oh,
she
she's
can't hear
tingling.
sound.
Her ears are
Tingling.
ringing.
And then he flies off, and then he's like going off, and that's when you see what he tells her, And then that's when I got teary. I was like, oh, he's sad. Because I didn't think he was going to say I love you. I thought he was saying I love you from the very beginning, and just she couldn't hear.
Yeah.
But then you saw the whole thing and you're like, wait, he didn't say it.
I can't remember what he said at the beginning. He's like, I have to go, I think. I have to go. I have to do this. I have to go. And she's like, no, let me do it. It's like, no.
Let me
And he
help
looks
you.
back and
He's
he's
like,
gonna
no,
go
I
away.
have to help you. And then as he's leaving, he turns around and he's like, I love you.
Yeah, and I was like,
And all of us went,
you made me care for him.
It was good because because when he went to go sacrifice himself, he was hesitant too.
Yeah.
He's like, and then he took a just deep breath, and he knew like there's just no other way, and it was the most self-sacrifice I could ever see a normal human being do.
Yeah. And it's funny because I heard some reviews say, why not send Wonder Woman? It's because we know she doesn't, she's not going to
She's immune to the gas, yeah.
explosion or the gas.
Yeah.
But to him, he's
she
still
doesn't
in
know
that
how to
mind
fly.
protecting.
Yeah, he wants
He
to
doesn't
protect
know
her.
her limit, right?
She
So
doesn't
he's
know how to
thinking, I
fly.
need to do this. She doesn't know how to fly. She's fighting this.
And
other
the
one.
He's
thing
a
is-
pilot.
And what did he say? We don't deserve her. In one part of the thing, we don't deserve her. So he did this
Yeah.
for her.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the mom says that. They don't deserve you. And then she goes, yeah, you're right. You don't deserve me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's stuff like that that really got me. I think it's mainly because of how good of acting job he did. How he
Yeah.
was very, very likable.
Very good actor. I like him.
So then we come to the final part of the movie where, it's the celebration, the Treaty of Versailles, right? Versailles? Is that
Yeah.
Treaty of
Treaty?
Versailles?
Yeah,
I
that's
thought he said 3D. I was like,
Treaty
Okay.
of Versailles. What the hell are you talking? Is that
Treaty of Versailles.
So that gets signed, obviously, and because that's kind of a plot line throughout the whole movie. And they're celebrating the death. She comes up and she sees his picture in an airplane. She just touches it. She kind of gets a little misty eyed. She turns around, looks up, kind of like what she did in her island, looking at the sun
yeah.
and how he came into his life. And I think that was pretty cool because this is
Reminiscence.
her basically saying he's out of my life now.
Yeah.
And so that's how it ends. We go back to now in the age, and she sends an email back to
Bruce
saying thank you for giving him back to me. And so that's why I say DC didn't plan for this whole. Maybe she's broken because of this. Because
Yeah.
after that, I didn't get that she was heartbroken with men. She seemed to be in the part where she's crying. She seemed to come to an understanding. She seemed to be very.
Yeah.
Sure that it's sad, but sure that I'm
I get what you mean.
here. She seems kind of happy actually. She doesn't seem broken. She doesn't seem to angry towards men. So that's why again I say this is just my own take on it. It doesn't make sense after adding all this, but that after leaving that, it doesn't make sense why she would just fade away. And
No,
never
I
come
get
back.
you.
Because she seems very happy. So there's stuff like that. Definitely plot holes, other plot holes here and there that I talk with Heather, but the movie was fun overall. I really enjoyed it. I could look past those things because I was having fun and I was enjoying the characters and everybody come together. Chris Pine, how did you feel about the death, Max?
I thought I already talked about
Well, kind of.
that. I just saw it
I was
self.
telling Diego that was the time that I kind of got teary-eyed. Not when he actually dies, but when you go back and then she tries to remember what he's saying to her.
Oh, that part. Yeah, that was weird actually. How that transition for me was weird because there was that when they were talking, I just thought she couldn't hear him because the bomb went off.
Yeah, that's what
and then come to find out that
She
the
got
conversation was
she got
weird.
knocked out.
Yeah, and so I didn't think she heard him at all. So it's kind of interesting when he said that. The only part, girls are probably gonna love it, but I felt the whole "I love you" and then runs away was kind of cheesy. But
I liked it. That was got me.
really, that
I
was
thought
just
he was
cheesy
saying
for
I
me.
love you from the very beginning. I was telling you this. You were in the bathroom. Hey, listeners. So I thought he was like, he grabs her and she's like, "Hey, I love you. I gotta go. I love you." And so I was like, "What is?" I was telling him, "It's like, what is he saying to her?" And then he just runs off. And then it isn't until after he dies and Wonder Woman's in this rage mode that she actually kind of remembers. Like he's like, "I have to go. I have to go." So I was like, "Dude, come on, tell her." And then he turns around, like right at the end before he runs out, he's like, "I love you." I was like, "Ooh." But yeah, overall I found it good. Heather talked about some problems that she had with it. You'll listen to it, Master.
So yeah, just to wrap it up, I think we all enjoyed the movie. There's obviously flaws, and there's flaws in all movies.
So what is this
Like I
gonna
said,
for the Knuckles
still
movie?
9 out of 10, even with that.
Yeah, well, for what?
thing.
It depends, right? Justice League now is the next one.
Oh, okay.
There's a problem here that could happen. It's not the same director.
Didn't he just step
It was
out like
Zack-
almost done with it though?
Yeah, but it was Zack Snyder that was still in director of Justice League. I can't remember the director's name for Wonder Woman, but it's not Zack Snyder.
No, but he did get he did have creative input into it, didn't he?
It's a woman, the director.
I know, but he had creative input into the writing and stuff.
I don't.
I thought he did.
Not as big.
Is that
Because
this year or
the
next
Wonder
year?
Woman that started and everything, it was Jeff Jones that stepped in for DC's overseeing the cinematic universe, and he's in charge of the comic books. So Justice League, I think, was started before this. So it was funny because everything relied on Wonder Woman, how this film's going to look, right? So now it goes to Justice League, and this one was mainly
I don't
done
feel
with
like she's
Zack
gonna have
Snyder.
too much
I'm
screen
not saying
time.
her about the movie itself. Is it gonna be more Wonder Woman-ish? Can it be more
Oh,
Wonder
with how
Woman-ish,
well it
like how
worked.
well
Yes,
worked?
I hope
Or
so.
is it gonna be Batman versus Superman?
I'm guessing
Suicide
Batman
Squad.
v Superman.
So
It's-
that's
it's-
the case. If that happens, I mean, I think people are still gonna end up watching the movies regardless.
Yeah.
But I think it would be bad if Justice League isn't as good
Yeah.
as Wonder
It
Woman.
needs to be
Or
good
even
because
better.
this is a powerhouse movie.
Well, it's hard too because
It
we don't have all
needs-
the origins set up yet.
We'll see.
Mm,
'Cause
You don't always need one,
Batman,
though.
Superman, and Wonder
No, but it does help because then you get like if this one's gonna be a lot of the Batman v Superman, right? I think a lot of it, the first half of the movie is gonna be all the gathering and the connection between Bruce Wayne getting them all gathered, and it's gonna kind of drag. This is just an idea theory,
You're
and
right.
so I'm just feeling that if they already have that connection like Wonder Woman, you're not gonna need that with Wonder Woman coming in because he's already established that. I guess
They already
I don't know. That's just an idea, but I just
Well, I think people understand Flash because if you see the show, then you're like, okay, I already know Flash's story. You don't need to redo it again.
Not the same
Aquaman,
Flash, but
but you know the like the origin, and then Aquaman, he can just tell you, oh, I was kicked out of Atlantis because it did this, or you know what your theory was,
Yeah.
and you kind of there. Cyborg,
we'll see.
he was,
November,
you know,
dude.
yeah. It's just
Yeah,
it doesn't
for sure.
it doesn't need
I'm-
one, but it's
I think I'm
helpful.
more
Well, I
worried
want-
about this one than I was for Wonder Woman,
okay.
and simply because of how well Wonder Woman has been received and how well it was made.
yes, but I was worried about Wonder Woman because there's been a lot of feminist pressure about this movie, which sucks.
Retard. I
Some-
hate
It's
that.
stupid.
Somebody posted on like Facebook. He's like, it was all this feminist and shoved down his throat. I was
Oh
like,
It's
yeah,
just
I
a
saw that. I was
woman that
like,
was
when
powerful.
did
I
you?
was like, didn't you know that she was
when
created
was
to
it
be kind of like this strong
shoved down
woman?
your throat?
And I
I've
asked him, I was
never-
like, when? And he never replied to me.
I
'Cause
never-
it was never like she was like, oh, all men suck. you know?
Oh, it was on Colin's
Women
Last
are
Stand.
good people.
Somebody said that. I was like, you're like the 4% who didn't like it.
Yeah, it was the same guy. But
I've never cared about that. Underworld's one of my favorite franchises.
not even about that.
don't
but
care
there
about-
isn't any like feminist agenda. In
It wasn't.
The
It wasn't.
only time that they were like
Girl power?
that they really were like girl power was when the mom was talking about how the Amazonians were created to rein in the men
Mm.
No, it wasn't raining.
or whatever it was
to help them.
to help them not be like
equals.
yeah and fight each other all the
thing
time.
is the thoughts of people thinking of feminism is trying to be equal, whereas like extreme feminism, it's not really feminism, it's another word, but they're saying women are dominant over men.
But
Whereas this movie was real feminism, where it's like, no, I'm equal to you, but like she's stronger. You know what I mean? And even like Trevor's character was, I
She
want to
didn't
help
look
her.
at him lower than. I mean, she didn't look at him
and
lower
he didn't
than
look
her.
at her.
And he didn't look at her
That's
lower
what I
than
was saying.
him.
It's like if you're saying feminism, I guess yes, but in the truest way, not in this radical version of what people are saying. Women are over men type
Yeah.
of crap. That's what I think.
This
yeah.
whole
that's why.
movie, this whole movie,
I don't care what her
think,
gender is. She's badass.
I think had so much people in the political side scrutinize
They
were ready to scrutinize.
Let's just all agree Trump probably hated this movie.
So perfect.
So he's like, man, I should have married her.
It came so good.
Yeah.
And
there was
so
people,
I think it was
waiting
powerful.
to like just
No, there was a whole army of people
Try.
like ready to scrutinize this.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
ready
Because
to
it
be
was done very well.
like this is so feminist. This we can't show this. Like they were ready.
I
I
want to
feel
know
like
what
they
the
were
real
ready.
word of
They're
that is. It's not.
torching
It
pitchforks.
was feminist, but it wasn't the radical version of what they mean.
No,
but-
no. All it was female empowerment. That's what it was. It was
Yeah.
empowering
To be
women
equal, though, too.
to stand up
Yeah.
and say, "Look, you can fight too.
Yeah, that's feminism in
And
equal terms.
you-
But what they're saying
You
is
can
something
have
else.
compassion and you can
Yeah.
reach out and you can do this thing." So for me, it felt very much like a female empowerment, but also
I want
there
brown
were the
empowerment.
men who were just as equal in the movie to her.
Aquaman, he's brown.
Like,
And I'm just saying, hey, you know what? Guys have a good
For
5
being a
minutes, but the
goddess-
girl's one got to squeeze that thing out, and props to her. A vagina's a lot stronger than a penis, let's be honest.
Okay, I lied.
For
Yeah.
being-
Let's be honest.
I mean, we did hear about
Give him
breaking-
some support a little
and
bit.
she did the
Female
movie while
breakage,
she was
we didn't hear
pregnant,
about
which having been pregnant, I could not
Yeah,
imagine.
when I heard that,
Would you
doing
put that
that.
on your husband?
No, she's talking about doing.
Oh.
the
No, I'm
movie.
talking about doing the movie.
Sorry. I thought
Having been pregnant, I would probably not be able to act as well as she did
Yeah.
when she was jumping around and doing all that stuff.
Yeah, I
Because
didn't
she
know that.
said she was doing full fight choreography while with this belly.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I was so impressed.
Before we go, I
Okay.
want to know how you guys' excitement going to Justice League now after Wonder Woman.
for
If
Thor.
they do it as well as Wonder Woman, even though it's a different director and everything, the director switches too. The director switched to midway.
But didn't he
'Cause,
leave it like
yeah.
83% done or
Something
something?
like that.
Basically
Either,
done.
Pretty much done.
either way, they switched it. But
He's not
if they do
changing
it well, I could see it being just as good or a little bit
But How
better.
excited are you now going into this?
I'm more excited now. Before I was like, now I'm like, okay, yeah. This is something I want to watch.
I'll tell you what, I'm excited to show our daughter Wonder Woman someday. Say, look,
Stick to the question, politician. Dang it. Don't change the question, Miles.
I'm the same excited. I've been super excited because I want Aquaman. His character, that actor is badass.
Yeah.
And then one of my favorite superheroes is Flash, so I'm all in.
Okay.
I'm good.
I'm excited to see what else they do with Wonder Woman
Yeah.
in the future. Because she, to be honest, she came out of Batman vs. Superman being the favorite character from that show.
Well, yeah, when she
Having the
took on that
breakout
shot and
moment.
then you hear the
Having-
you're like, okay, this is
Having
tight.
the breakout moment and the excellent theme that pumped her up. So I was excited.
I'm excited. I think I'm just as excited. Might be a little bit more, weary.
Comedic.
No,
Come
I think
November, you'll be more
there
hyped.
might be
I
some
think I'm a little
more,
bit more worried
comedy
just
in it.
because
Oh,
this is still
definitely.
Zack Snyder's, and so we're gonna get his version of the Justice League. I didn't.
Well,
have
he
the same
could have
problem that
learned.
People had with
He
Batman
could have
versus
learned,
See,
though, you
I
know?
liked that movie. The only thing I hated was it was too effing long.
Yeah, I
But
get
the
it.
movie was good. I liked
Well,
it.
it's gonna be a long movie anyways because it's Justice
I
League.
mean, hopefully,
Origins.
I liked it.
what I said is like, hopefully they take notes from Wonder Woman. Maybe, obviously, they can't apply it to Justice League, but going forward, they could apply this formula and maybe get more input into that.
That's a
Maybe
good
even
idea.
getting the director to kind of oversee everything with Jeff Jones.
So like
Kinda
the
see
reason
what they could
the
do.
reason I won't rewatch Batman v Superman even though I watched it is I'm like I have to sit down for 3.5 hours. Well, I'm not gonna do that today. Like that's so
Intermission.
intermission. Yeah, it was
So
good.
either way, Wonder Woman.
Solid 8, I think, is the
Average.
right now in this
Sure.
table.
Yeah.
Is it a good one?
It's worth watching. People, go ahead, watch it. If you stop listening at this point, you still watch it.
Come back and listen and then watch it again.
Or you probably already watched it because you've heard enough.
Listen
Yeah.
to Serial
Alright.
Podcast.
Thank
Alright.
you for joining us.
Yep. This is Mr. Worldwide.
Bye.
This is Sassy Heather.
Monster Tech Gun.
That was Jose Kimpachuro.
Wonder Man.
Wonder Woman. Okay. See you later, guys.